just don't get it.
Oh.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you are charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine because of the high blow. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am. Okay, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor. You ready, Your Honor?
Yeah, as well.
On March 9th, 2025, at approximately 4:30 p.m., officers were dispatched to a suspicious vehicle call at 11,000 block of Grant Road in Harris County, Texas. The wheel witness stated that the defendant was observed in the driver's seat, slumped over with her eyes closed, and slowly approaching the intersection. The witness followed the defendant's vehicle and was able to get her to pull over at Cypress Creek High School. The wheel witness believes the defendant was having a diabetic medical emergency. The defendant then left the location and drove on the wrong side of the road. The witness identified the defendant's vehicle, and the officer located the vehicle, and a traffic stop was initiated to check on the well-being of the defendant. Upon making contact with the defendant, the officer immediately detected an odor of an alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, and the defendant was unable to maintain balance. She admitted to drinking one alcoholic beverage. EMS arrived, and the defendant was cleared. SFSTs were conducted. It was a 4 out of 6 on the HGN, a 5 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and a 1 out of 4 on the one leg stand. The DIC was read and she consented to breath. The results are a 0.214 and a 0.205.
Do you mind running her NCIC, please? And then whether she has a license?
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Your Honor.
She has a New Hampshire driver's license. It does not look like it's eligible.
Do you
And
not have a license?
I do have a license.
You have a Texas driver license?
No, I have a New Hampshire driver.
It's not eligible. They're looking at the screen now. So you're not allowed to drive. It is your responsibility to get in touch with them to see what you need to do to get it back. But until that point, you're not allowed to drive.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I think I misspoke here. It looks like it is valid. It's a little bit different to read than Texas flood, so
Okay.
excuse me for that, but
Not
it
a
is
problem.
valid.
Okay, unless you have a valid license and a liability insurance, you're not allowed to drive. You need to have car insurance. Do you understand?
Yes,
If
sir.
I find that you drive without it, likewise, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you. Tell me, ma'am, do you have the ability to hire a lawyer? Okay, I will have you fill out an application. We'll look to see whether you qualify. For now, I'm going to have you, For now, I'll have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. Deputy Miranda's going to give you an application. I'll have you eventually meet with Felicia with your bond conditions, and then we'll have you take your signature box, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Breakfast, go ahead and sign for your reset, please. All right, Judge, next is page 17, Alvera.
You're Freddie Perez?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Perez, you're charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On March 10th, 2025, officers initiated a traffic stop at 4841 block of Mount Houston Road in Harris County, Texas. Numerous vehicles were observed inside of a parking lot in a pit. The officer observed the defendant driving a white Honda, engaging in reckless driving by doing approximately 4 donuts. The defendant's vehicle was coming close to hitting people standing by the pit and other vehicles as well, disregarding the safety of the other people and their property. The defendant was the only occupant of the vehicle.
She's the only occupant.
Yes,
Okay, can you run his license, please?
right. Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Perez, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to drive in a reckless manner again, not to do donuts, street takeovers, racing, any of this nature. If you do, first, I'm going to put you in jail. Next, I will take your ability to drive away from you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
It's valid, Your Honor.
All right, you're not allowed to drive unless you also have valid liability insurance in your name. That is a condition of your bond as well. So if you don't have car insurance, you're not allowed to drive. Do you have a lawyer today?
No, sir.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer? I'll have you fill out an application. I'll see whether you qualify. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions. Deputy Miranda's going to give you an application. I'll have you sign a reset with Victoria, and then we'll have you take your seat in the jury box. So-
Can I just say something? I want.
No, don't. We'll talk later, please. Thank you.
Read this one. Go ahead and sign for your reset, please.
Point it to you, ma'am. Okay.
On March 10th, 2025, at approximately 1 a.m., officers conducted a traffic stop at the 16,000 block of Katy Freeway on a white Lexus for speeding. The officer paced the motor vehicle traveling 85 miles per hour in a 60 miles per hour zone for approximately a quarter mile. The motor vehicle was also failing to maintain a single lane. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver. The officer observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, red glassy eyes, and the inability to balance. The defendant admitted to having 2 drinks prior to driving the motor vehicle. SFSTs were conducted. It was a 6 out of 6 on the HGN, a 5 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and a 1 out of 4 on the one leg stand. The DIC was read and she consented to breath. The results were a 0.187 and a 0.185. She was identified by her driver's license.
So any prior WIs and then
No prior WIs, her license is eligible.
that. All right, Ms. Olvera, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds. You have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with him, and he'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If I find that you pick up a new case, you're driving without insurance, anything else, then it's not going to go well for you. I'll have you sign a reset with Victoria. We'll have you get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and then you're free to go. All right?
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Mr. Nolan.
That's great. Mr. Wong, you have from May 1 on the second, or I'm sorry, 21st. So excited.
You said Kamisha Johnson?
Yes, is that how you pronounce your name? No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Judge. Kamisha
You're
Johnson.
appointed on the case?
Yes,
Put your paperwork right on the
Did you just get appointed to the case?
got a point today, Judge.
Okay.
Judge, we already filed PC and did bond condition.
Yeah, I thought we did.
We're just waiting on council for a reset date.
Okay. Yeah, you're good to go. Just, ma'am, don't drive. Above all else in the short life that we have, don't. I don't care what your justification is. If you drive, it's really not going to go well for you. Do you understand? All you got to do is get your Texas driver license, liability insurance, show us that you got it, and then I'm happily take all these conditions off.
Can I ask a question? If I do my occupational license, thing, could
You
you?
need to call DPS first, because if you've never had a license, that's going to be an issue. So you need to call them first to see what you need to do. Don't just try to apply and start spending 150 to,
I went there, that's why I have asked you.
don't just start, I can't give you legal advice. The only thing I would say is go to DPS, call them, and they can tell you what you need to do to actually get your license. Why are you going to pay all this money to get an occupation when you should go get your regular license?
Because on the chart, it says that I have to have an occupational for like a amount of time in order to release the license.
I don't know if I would grant you one. I really don't. I'd have to look at a lot of things. First things first, though, is call DPS. This is the number of the driver's license division. Call them at You'll never get through because the phone lines, you have to call it right when they open, which is at 7. Call them and figure out what you need to do to try to get it back. And that's what you need to do for first and foremost. Okay?
Great. Thank you, Judge. All right.
Jail. Some just don't get it. I mean, I'm truly at a loss, truly at a loss. When we did the plea, not 6, 7 days ago, I told you probably 25 times, don't go back. And now here, you've picked up a violation of a bond condition of protective order. Let's do probable cause because I don't know. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you, sir. Please.
On March 12, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, officers were dispatched to a violation of a protective order call. The officer met with the complainant, who stated that she found the defendant in her mother's house while there was an active protective order, including a residency restriction. The officer arrived and found the defendant at the location and confirmed there was a protective order prohibiting the defendant from being at the location.
So it goes back to mom's house.
Yes, sir.
Not the,
Yes, sir. She went back to the residence.
I don't know what we're gonna, I don't know,
I just want to make sure that he knows or that I wasn't there on the plea before. I just seen that the 2 different filings. He's saying that he didn't know the address.
problem is that we have
Yeah.
the wrong address.
Right.
So we
So,
amended.
but he was admonished about the new address.
And so far as the lawyer even went to the jail to go talk to him,
Okay.
to tell him. So I did,
Okay.
the lawyer did.
Okay. Well, thank you, Judge. I didn't know that.
I don't know if you're gonna get out, but let me tell you something, and I want to make this really clear to you, Mr. Lopez, is that now, with what you were charged with, the Texas Constitution does not allow me, but in extremely limited circumstances, this being one of those, to have a hearing to hold you at no bond, 0 bond. This is that type of offense. I don't know if you're gonna get out. I don't know if anyone is gonna pony up the $5,000 to get you out. If someone does, I'm going to put an ankle monitor on you. If I find that you violate any of the conditions that I'm going to put on you now, I will have a hearing to hold you at no bond. Do you understand? I don't know what it's going to take to get you to hear me, but perhaps that may be it. I don't want you to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case. I don't want you to have any contact with mom. I don't want you to have any contact with dad. I don't want you to have any weapons. I don't want you to go within 1,000 feet of where they live, or where they work, and the address listed in this order for protection. Do you understand?
And I have the address, sir. The correct address.
We will give it to you. Prior to me, I'm going to tell you this now, Ms. Strong, that prior to me accepting anything, any kind of plea bargain in this case, I would like to have a TRAS done to see how we go forward. Because I'm going to tell you now that every time
Mm-hmm.
that something, it's, and,
I understand, Judge.
okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we need him to sign conditions real quick, and then we'll give him a copy of the MOA right here, and then he can go back.
Thank you.
Sure. And I'm gonna find probable cause as well.
Okay.
Okay.